You running off the road, so get out the way. Push the pedal to the floor, blow 'em all away. Yeah, you see I'm getting close, I accelerate.
Do you want to know
Faster, the faster
what
it
it
gets, lose
is?
control. I won't crash, rolling high.
Seneca firstly explains to us that if we truly want to be happy, we must look in the right places, that often we follow the wrong path or no path at all. Seneca says,
So long as we wander aimlessly, having no guide, and following only the noise and discordant cries of those who call us in different directions.
the masses often follow the common belief of what makes a person happy. In following others, it creates a scenario where
No one can fall down without drawing along another, and those that are in front cause destruction to those behind. This same thing you may see happening everywhere in life.
he emphasizes and doubles down again and again on the point that
When the happy life is under debate, there will be no use for you to reply to me, as if it were a matter of votes. This side seems to be in a majority. For that is just the reason it is the worst side. Human affairs are not so happily ordered that the majority prefer the better things. A proof of the worst choice is the crowd. Therefore let us find out what is best to do, not what is most commonly done, what will establish our claim to lasting happiness, not what finds favor with the rabble, who are the worst possible exponents of the truth.
he then goes on to denounce flashy displays of wealth in favor of true inner happiness.
Why do I not rather seek some real good, one which I could feel, not one which I could display? These things that draw the eyes of men, before which they halt, which they show to one another in wonder, outwardly glitter, but are worthless within. Let us seek something that is a good in more than appearance, something that is solid, constant, and more beautiful in its more hidden part.
After clarifying what happiness is not, that it is not caused by what is commonly believed, he then goes on to begin to explain what actual happiness is, how to attain it, and that it lies in a life lived in harmony with its own nature, and that it can be contained only in one way. How? He goes on to say that one must have a mind in possession of sanity, that it must be courageous and energetic, but without anxiety, attentive to all the advantages of life, but not with excessive love, a user, but not a slave of good fortune. He says finally that
Once we have driven away all that excites or affrights us, there ensues unbroken tranquility and enduring freedom. For when pleasures and fears have been banished, then, in place of all that is trivial and fragile and harmful, just because of the evil it works, there comes upon us first a boundless joy that is firm and unalterable, then peace and harmony of the soul and true greatness.
he goes on to discuss what the highest good is and what the happy life is, that you are able to speak of it in many ways, and them all being accurate. He describes the highest good, or the happy man, as he
who recognizes no good and evil other than a good and an evil mind.
He says,
The highest good is a mind that scorns the happenings of chance and rejoices only in virtue, and that the happy life is to have a mind that is free, lofty, fearless, and steadfast, a mind that is placed beyond the reach of fear, beyond the reach of desire, that counts virtue the only good.
He explains the benefits of this life that
A man thus grounded must, whether he wills or not, necessarily be attended by constant cheerfulness, and a joy that is deep and issues from deep within, since he finds delight in his own resources, and desires no joys greater than his inner joys.
He explains further that these highest, certain joys are the path to the happy life.
Should not such joys as these be rightly matched against the paltry and trivial and fleeting sensations of the wretched body? The day a man becomes superior to pleasure, he will also be superior to pain.
In denouncing further a hedonistic lifestyle, he says,
Let it have them in sooth, and let it pose as a judge of luxury and pleasures. Let it gorge itself with the things that are wont to delight the senses. Then let it look back upon the past, and recalling faded pleasures, let it intoxicate itself with former experiences, and be eager now for those to come, and let it lay its plans. And while the body lies helpless from present cramming, let it direct its thoughts to that to come. Yet from all this it seems to me the mind will be more wretched than ever, since it is madness to choose evils instead of goods. But no man can be happy unless he is sane, and no man can be sane who searches for what will injure him in place of what is best.
He then quotes those who challenge him, writing,
But even you cultivate virtue for no other reason than because you hope for some pleasure from it.
Going on to refute this, he says,
Even though virtue is sure to bestow pleasure, it is not for this reason that virtue is sought, for it is not this, but something more than this that she bestows. The highest good lies in the very choice of it, and the very attitude of a mind made perfect, and when the mind has completed its course and fortified itself within its own bounds, the highest good has now been perfected, and nothing further is desired, for there can no more be anything outside of the whole than there can be some point beyond the end. Therefore you blunder when you ask what it is that makes me seek virtue. You are looking for something beyond the supreme. Do you ask what it is that I seek in virtue? Only herself. For she offers nothing better. She herself is her own reward. Or does this seem to you too small a thing? When I say to you, the highest good is the inflexibility of an unyielding mind, its foresight, its sublimity, its soundness, its freedom, its harmony, its beauty. Do you require of me something still greater, to which these blessings may be ascribed?
praising again virtue, he says,
What does virtue promise you for this enterprise? Mighty privileges and equal to the divine. You shall be bound by no constraint. Nothing shall you lack. You shall be free, safe, unhurt. Nothing shall you essay in vain, from nothing be debarred. All things shall happen according to your desire. Nothing adverse shall befall you, nothing contrary to your expectations and wish. What? Does virtue alone suffice for living happily? Perfect and divine as it is, why should it not suffice, nay, suffice to overflowing? For if a man has been placed beyond the reach of any desire, what can he possibly lack?